from this strike. And then they make a big point and to attack parents and everything. They get the parents to come and rally with them. Yeah, you pay them more so they can do better. No, do better and then we'll pay you more. I've never seen a company invest into a group of people invest into another group of people with no product, with no seeing the light that product will even be distributed. We don't know that we go and buy smart boards for every room, every computer for every student that's in there, give the teachers personal laptops to take home and pay them extra. We don't know that they're going to come in there with a mindset and say, you know what, instead of me getting in there at 7 o'clock, I'm going to get in there at 6 o'clock. And yes, I'm supposed to leave at 4 o'clock, but I'm going to stay till 5:30, 6 o'clock. They don't do that no more. But you still want to pay like you do that. Nobody says you would ever get rich being a teacher. That's a public service. Okay? Nobody ever says you get rich being a police officer. And nobody says you'll ever get rich being an FBI officer. And if you are getting rich doing that, then apparently, most likely, something's wrong. And something ain't getting done right. I don't think politicians should get paid. I don't think the presidency should get paid as much. He shouldn't get $250,000 a year. It's public service. I think those officers should be free, just so we can get rid of the whole snaking and scamming and all of that nonsense. That's just my opinion, though. And a lot of people say, hey, opinions are like booty holes. And I say, hey, everybody has one. Now, moving along. Let's touch bases on this oil situation. Now, I'm sick of people crying, we need energy. We want to drill, or we want this and do this for the economy. Politically, y'all like to holler that because it makes you feel like you know what you're talking about. We should not have a situation where we can use our own resources, and we don't. That's the number one problem with America, is we either export all our goods or we import somebody else's goods. But you never have nothing made in the USA. It's always from China, or Asia, or Tijuana, or Peru, or anything like that. El Salvador and Finland, you're getting stuff from everywhere but here. We find oil out in Alaska. Oh, it might be like BP. You'll let these British bastards come over here, mess up our water. We had a storm a few years later, Isaac, and now we have more of this oil washed up on our ocean, on our land from these oceans. But y'all want to cry and deny us. But they still out there doing their business. They still getting their oil. They're still working in the communities. We're still buying their gas. They didn't even make the gas on their BP pumps cheap for y'all. Y'all still paid the high prices. The prices went. They cry, okay, we're going to put up $10 billion to help clean it up. The gas prices went up. Their prices went up too. And they got a tax break of a loss, so they got that money back. Plus the extra $10 billion once you got done working with all of the papers and the figures. And then they still tax the hell out of you for your gas. And you still pull up to BP and I'm getting gas. They have good gas. Whatever. But we got an opportunity to drill on American waters off our coast. And we can tap into this and have 13 years worth of supply. And they're talking about, that's a whole other point. We got the access. We got what we need. We can drill it ourselves. We can produce it and manufacture it ourselves. We're such a great nation that we have all of the tools and all of the components that we need. We can do it ourselves and don't need it to go anywhere else. It takes years to build a pipeline. No, it don't. You people had it drawn up where these pipelines could possibly go and lay. It don't take long to do that. Drill it, lay it, let's go. Because guess what? You get to hire people to work at the companies that make the pipes. You get the people, hire people to come and actually start working it. And then it works across the country. Because we need to start laying pipes and running fuel and things across the entire country. Bring gas down, selling our own stuff. Now, China or Iraq, Iran, whoever giving us our oil, they can't charge as much. But I'm sick of people always talking about how the economy bad. They knocking the president. Republicans came in the beginning and said, we ain't doing nothing with this. Is a lame duck session. You got 2 years of it, America. And they complain, bitch and moan about what the president is doing, and our own government officials aren't stepping up doing anything. The best way you can outshine somebody who comes out there talking about how they're going to be bipartisan and do all this and do that is you do a better job than them. The president say he's gonna make 1 million jobs. We're gonna make 2 million jobs, and we still gonna get it done. I didn't see that. I seen everything being stonewalled. That's natural. That's called ignorance. That's what y'all do. That's politics. That's natural for politics. It's to always delay, hinder, and restrict. That's what they do. Or if we have this stuff being drilled, we had this stuff being tapped. While y'all telling Shell, just drill 1,200 feet. We need to be saying, y'all get 1,200 feet, sit to the base, we're going to start pulling in the rig what we need, and let's do this. We know what was needed to stop that major catastrophe. That won't even be half of what would happen if something horrible happened up in the Alaskan waters. But be prepared. They got everything there. They got the flow shutoff thing underground, under the water, to catch it right there. They got some of the main tools that was used in this whole tobacco already on site. What's the problem? They are trying to strategically implode and destroy our system. If we go and allow and let that happen, guess what? We cannot trip, cry, boo-hoo about it. If we have any opportunity, I would give my life trying to do for mine. You need to have that same mentality. Y'all talk about you so patriotic. Okay, if you so patriotic, America, let's pull together, be prepared. Everybody in there right now, guess what? We may be able to get some oil out of Alaska. When you go to the store and buy a bottle of Dawn soap to wash your dishes, buy 2, put 1 up. So if something bad do happen and we worry about the seals and the ducks and all of this, guess what? Ship your soap to Alaska, to the post office, labeling it soap for the cleanup, and they'll distribute it. That's what needs to be done. Put $2-3 aside every week just in case something bad happens and we can send money to donate. America's good for donating. The people, not just the government, the people will donate just as much as the governments in other countries to other countries. If that makes sense. So, ladies and gentlemen, we need to get our heads out of the sand. We need to decide if we're really trying to move forward and reinvent ourselves as Americans, not in the socialist manner, not in the communist manner, in the same manner of America, like it was built on, liberty, freedom, to pursue happiness, the basics. Get rid of all that corporation run this, corporation run that. We're going to have corporations, we have businesses. But they do not dictate the direction of this country. We do. We can decide if we want oil drilled or not. It doesn't matter what anybody really says. It's what we want. But for us to sit back and cry about how the economy is so bad, how we have so many people poor, we have so many people struggling, and we have this problem, we have that problem, but you won't dare try to tap into anything on our land to get it moving, to try to fix the problem. No, not at all. No, not at all. I mean, hell, if y'all really, we got so much oil floating around and buried out here, we can let the government start pulling one source and say, hey, we want a public person to monitor how much revenue comes from this rig that makes this oil. And we can actually contribute all of that comes strictly from that. Sell it to the cheapest buyer and use that to pay on our deficit and have another rig that just bring revenue and just for our American people. It's things we can do, ladies and gentlemen. But it's this whole mindset, we got to go through this red tape, we got to deal with this politician and this corporate interest and all of this nonsense. We got time, we're sick of that. I'm sick of Democrats, I'm sick of Republicans, I'm sick of liberals, libertarians, I'm sick of all of them, independents, I'm sick of all of them. Because all of them hoop and holler and talk about this and talk about that, but nobody's ever really pushing. They had Ron Paul pushing it for years, all this way and that way. Yeah, it sounds good, but when it's time for you to step up, you don't even step up. Your son don't even step up. The people who promoting you, I've supported Ron Paul for so many years, and he's still, I'm angry, but we gonna keep supporting the dynasty out. The hell with it. You do something to shut the hell up too. Because just to make a point, I'm gonna start buying a bottle of Dawn soap. Every time I go buy a bottle of Dawn soap for my house, I'm gonna go buy a bottle for just in case something happens for that oil spill. And we see what happens. Just to let you guys know, America. And every 2 weeks, I give you an updated count on how many bottles of soap I have. That's what needs to be done. Nothing else. This is your host, Timothy Preston. That was on my mind. I'll get more in detail with it later on, but as far as right now, that's it. That's all. Thank you guys for tuning in. Quick show. I love you guys. Even if I just throw a random show in, I get mega listens and I keep growing. Spread the word. Facebook it. Like me. Download me. Spread it out. Peace, love, and happiness. This is your host, Timothy Preston, and I